Nursery rhyme time, okay, children? This guy Jack, right? I know him. Great guy, kind of nimble, really quick. He's this sort of like bouncing on your toes kind of guy. He decides, oh, here I am. I'm Jack. I'm so nimble. I'm so quick. I'm gonna jump right over that candlestick. And he did. It was pretty fantastic. But if he would have just jumped a little higher, he wouldn't have caught his pants on fire.
Ow, 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 hot, hot.
Oh man, he's took us up for a burn.
That was a bad idea.
To sum it all up then, Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, right? Jack jump over the candlestick, but if he would have jumped a little bit higher, he wouldn't have caught his pants on fire. Oh, look at it burn. He's got to get down to his trousers. It's time for a nursery rhyme update. You all remember Jack. He was nimble and quick and jumped clear over the candlestick. Close to being an Olympic candle jumper. Just needs a little more practice because he what? That's right. He caught his pants on fire. Silly Jack. Well, Jack got sad after that because those were his favorite jumping pants. He stopped training because his spirit was low. He lost hope. And since he stopped exercising and he started eating pizza every day, he got heavy. All he felt like doing was eating. One day he ran into Peter, the pumpkin eater, who loved eating as well, specifically pumpkins. "You love eating, but you're not doing it right," he said. "Let me show you how it's done. I'm gonna train you for a hamburger eating contest. When you exercise good and hard, you'll be extra hungry, and you'll be burning fat, so you can eat a whole bunch and still be in good enough shape to jump over candlesticks." So, Jack and Peter trained and trained and trained. They ran 10 miles on Mondays, biked 30 miles on Wednesdays, and did push-ups, pull-ups, and sit-ups with Mr. Itsy Bitsy Spider on Fridays for weeks and weeks on end, until they were so hungry that they won the hamburger eating contest by eating 106 hamburgers in 25 minutes. And when he was finished, he had so much energy left that Jack jumped over 3 candlesticks and only ended up with one tiny burn mark on his bum. Moral of the story is believe in yourself and never give up.
Hello, boys and girls. It's nursery rhyme time. Ooh, I'm ever so excited. This nursery rhyme is about a little boy named Georgie. Well, you may know him as Georgie Porgie. Georgie lived with his mum and dad on top of their very own bakery. Mum, by the way, is British for Mom. So if you're feeling kind of British, just call your mom Mum. So Georgie's mum would get up early every morning to wake Georgie.
Wakey, wakey, sleepyhead. Oh, it's that time already.
And she would go to the kitchen and start baking yummy cakes, puddings, and pies. Every day, Georgie's mum would pack a slice of apple pie into Georgie's lunchbox. Georgie definitely had what you would call a sweet life.
Thanks, Mum. You're the best.
But one day, Georgie's mum accidentally filled Georgie's pie with the fish she'd made for his dad's lunch. Uh-oh! During lunch, Georgie was so hungry, he didn't think anything of the fish pie. In fact, he thought it tasted quite good. He was really hungry.
Ooh, this is quite tasty. Nice to have something savory for a change.
He thought to himself. But the smell of Georgie's fish breath was not a very pleasant one. In fact, it was extra double stinky. So stinky that when it was time to play in the schoolyard, all the other kids ran away from him. Then one little girl was standing by herself looking lonely, so Georgie decided to give her a kiss. That didn't go over too well.
Ew! You smell like a can of cat food.
Poor Georgie was so embarrassed. He was just trying to be nice. When the other boys joined in to play, Georgie ran all the way home so he could brush his teeth. So, boys and girls, the moral of the story is, don't kiss anyone after you've had a plate of fish. The end. And now for the nursery rhyme part. Georgie Porgie, pudding and pie, kissed the girls and made them cry. When the boys came out to play, Georgie Porgie ran away.
Yay! Look there. It's a pussycat. Well, let's see what he's been up to. Hey there, pussycat. Yes? Looks like you've been on a journey. I have. Where to? I've been up to London to visit the Queen. Oh, the Queen! That's wonderful. Yup, pretty nice. What did you do there? Oh, you know, this and that, and had a spot of tea, played backgammon, pretty uneventful. Oh, I almost forgot. This great thing happened. You see, while I was up there, I saw this mouse. Nasty little thing, just walking around the floor stealing some of the Queen's cheese. So I tried to do a nice thing, but all I ended up doing was scaring the little twerp right from underneath her chair. Oh dear, never forgave me for that. Meow. Well, let's see if we can't get a rhyme out of it, okay? Pussycat, pussycat, where have you been? I've been up to London to visit the Queen. Pussycat, pussycat, what did you do there? I frightened a little mouse under her chair. Meow.
It's time for nursery rhyme time. Take a seat. Pay attention. Very good. Let's begin. Here's Mary Mary. Yes, her name was so nice, they named her twice. Hello, Mary Mary.
Hello.
Today we're visiting a very beautiful English garden. This is a very special garden. And who happens to take care of it? Yes, that's right. Mary Mary, the girl you just met.
That's me.
Yes, the girl I graciously introduced you to. Now, in this garden, there are no flowers.
I guess I've got no business being here.
There are no tomatoes, no prized lettuces or carrots. No carrots? That makes me very unhappy. Instead, in Mary Mary's garden, she has silver bells the size of pumpkins, and she loves to ring them every day.
Enough with the bells!
Oh, I'm sorry.
Why don't you grow vegetables like everyone else?
Oh, Mary Mary's quite contrary. Yes, she's a little bit different. Mary Mary also has cockle shells in her peculiar garden. Cockle shells, you say? Yes, a mound of cockle shells to remind her of the pebbled beaches of Cape Cod.
Ouch. Ooh, ow. Ooh, what a lovely shout. Ooh, ouch.
And instead of gardeners to keep her garden nice and tidy, Mary Mary has maids.
You missed a spot.
Oh, that Mary Mary. So, Mary Mary is quite different. She has an acquired taste in her gardening style, but that's what makes Mary Mary quite contrary. And that, boys and girls, is rather quite lovely indeed. And now for the rhyming part. Mary Mary quite contrary. How does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells.
Hey, how you doing?
And pretty maids all in a row.
Who's excited? You are? Huh? So am I. I have this mouse living with me. His name's Winston. Say hi, Winston. Hello. And Winston, he's a little mouse. He's tiny, right? And he gets frightened, scared by things, loud things. So the other night, we're hanging out. I'm watching TV. Hickory Dickory Dock. And he goes all the way up to the top of my grandfather clock. And what happens? Well, it was very late, past midnight, and the clock strikes one, and down he run. He got frightened. Poor Winston. Sum it all up, here we go. Hickory Dickory Dock, the mouse, Winston, ran up the clock. Clock struck 1. Down he run. Hickory, a Dickory Dock.
Hello, kids, wee little children, small people who will grow into big people one day. It's nursery rhyme time. Today, we're looking at this very elderly fellow.
Hello.
An older chap, jolly though. Before this old man was an old man, he was a math teacher, and he loved numbers. You know, 1, 2, 3, big numbers, small numbers, musical numbers. If it had to do with numbers, and especially counting numbers, he was happy. Downright thrilled, actually. Man loved his numbers. Well now, in his old age, this man has devoted his life to playing knick-knack, which is, all things considered, simply playing drums with spoons on the counter while waiting for your mom to bring in supper or the like. Sometimes he likes to play 1 beat, and sometimes he likes to play 10. But he's always counting as he does it. Here's an example. He played 1 on his thumb,
1,
2 on his shoe,
1, 2,
3 on his knee,
1, 2, 3,
and 4 on his door.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And after each one, he gives his dog a bone. That's right, a treat for old Rover. A poodle, I believe. Good-looking pooch. Must be all the extra bone treats he's getting. Good for his calcium levels. Back to business. This old man, he played 5 on a hive. Of bees, I might add.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Could have been dangerous, but luckily, bees are afraid of poodles. This old man played 6 on a pile of sticks, which actually sounded like a xylophone. It was quite nice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
7 up in heaven,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
and then he came back down here and played 8 on my gate, of all places.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
He didn't chip the paint, so I was okay with it, but he should have asked.
Sorry.
He also played 9 up and down a vine,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
and on 10, he did it all over again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And this old man, he was so famous for doing this over and over, all over town, that there was even a song written about it. And it went something like this.
This old man, he plays 1, he plays knick-knack on my drum. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he plays 2, he plays knick-knack on the shoe. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he plays 3, he plays knick-knack on the tree. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he plays 4, he plays knick-knack on the door. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he plays 5, he plays knick-knack on the high. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he plays 6, he plays knick-knack on the stick. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he plays 7, he plays knick-knack up in heaven. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he plays 8, he plays knick-knack on the gate. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home.
Nursery rhymes. This story is about Mother Hubbard and, well, actually her poor dog. He didn't eat much. He was just lean. He liked to exercise, get out, stretch his legs, run in the park, chase things like squirrels. Anyway, she thinks, I'm going to do something nice. I'm going to give my dog, whose name was Albertson, a bone. He likes bones. He's a dog. Of course he does. She goes to the cupboard where she keeps the bones, and when she gets to the cupboard, it's bare. They're flat out of dog treats. And so Albertson, the poor little dog, had none. Sounds kind of sad. It's not. I'll tell you why. Old Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard to get her poor doggy a bone. But when she went there, the cupboard was bare. And so her poor doggy had none. But don't worry, she had her grandkids coming later that day, and they brought plenty of bones for Albertson. So much that he didn't even know what to do with them. And he was happy.
Gather round, get cozy. It's time for a nursery rhyme. This one's warm and fuzzy. Sure you're comfortable? All right, I'm starting now. So there's this sheep, right? He's quite a cuddly animal, especially with his black woolly coat. And this sheep just happens to own a fancy wool shop where he sells expensive woolly stuff like hats and bags and mittens. One day, this very famous French designer comes in and says, "Bonjour." That's French for hello. And the sheep looks all confused because he doesn't understand French. So the designer guy says, "Oh, I mean," as he takes out his sheep dictionary. How do you say, "Ah, this is it. Baa Baa Black Sheep, have you any wool?" And he's asking this because he needs loads and loads of black wool because he's going to make fancy dresses for fancy ladies who do very fancy things. And the sheep says, "Sorry, mate, just sold my last 3 bags of black wool." He had sold one to Batman, who needed a woolen cape to keep warm at night when he's out busting the bad guys. Oh, so toasty. And one to a witch, who needed a sweater so she's not cold when she's flying around on her broom. That's much better! And one to a little kid who lives down the lane and has a peculiar fondness for the craft of knitting.
Knit 1, purl 2, knit 1, purl 2, knit 1, purl 2, knit 1, purl 2. Awesome.
But I just got a bunch of white wool out in the back and you can dye it black if you like.
Merci,
says the fashion designer. That means thank you in French. And off he goes to make his fancy dresses for fancy ladies. Look, he's happy as a lamb. So, if you need black wool or even rainbow wool for your little ponies, you can always rely on Baa Baa Black Sheep for all your woolly needs. And now it's time for the rhyming part. Baa Baa Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes sir, 3 bags full. 1 for the master, and 1 for the dame, and 1 for the little boy who lives down the lane. And there you have it, a warm and woolly nursery rhyme.
Nursery rhyme time. First things first, meet the family. Porkymin the pig, Piggly the pig, and Alfonso the pig. Just finished college and eager to grow up. So the first one, Porkymin. He decides,
I'm gonna build a house and I really like straw because it's like soft, so yeah, I'm gonna do that or whatever.
And so he does. And he has this big, soft house that kind of sways with the breeze. Well, then the second pig, Piggly, he decides he's gonna move out too.
I like sticks. I'm gonna build a house out of them. I mean, trees are strong, so my house will be strong.
And so he does. And it's kind of vintage, you know? Like, got a little flavour of like Portland, but not like Main Street Portland. Kind of like an offbeat Portland, like one of the suburbs. Then Alfonso, the third pig, decides he's gonna move out too. So he says,
I looked at the schematics of most of the other houses, and it seems that brick is a very solid material. I will design my house like so many historic buildings before me, with brick.
Porkymin and Piggly think that this is not the smartest idea he's ever come up with.
You're never gonna finish that house. It's gonna take like a long time or whatever.
Yeah, it's gonna take like forever.
And it did take a while, but once it was done, the real test of strength came. You see, there was this traveling salesman, Mr. Wolf, who was actually a wolf.
Want to buy some things?
No, I have enough stuff.
But you don't have this stuff.
No, thank you, all right?
If you don't open this door, I'll blow your house down.
Try me.
And not only did the wolf blow his house down, because it was made of flimsy straw and whatnot, but he also blew down the stick house as well. Then he decided to pay Alfonso a visit.
Come on, Pig. Buy us some nice things.
We don't want your things. Get out of here.
Yeah.
No. And besides, I'm going to blow your house down.
And he tried, but he just couldn't. And he got all faint in the head and fell down. And Porkyman, Piggly, and Alfonso lived happily ever after in 3 beautiful brick houses. Nothing to rhyme about, no, just a story. Moral of the story, take your time, do things right, and it'll pay off in the end. This one's an old favourite called Pop Goes the Weasel. First, let me tell you about weasels. They're a naughty bunch, always getting into mischief, causing a ruckus. Meanwhile, this monkey's just minding his own business, eating his lunch, bananas, obviously, when some weasel came out and stole all of his stuff. He took the monkey's lucky hat and his knapsack and all of his bubble gum. To top it all off, he started dancing around a mulberry bush. You can't catch me, na 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 na. And he was blowing and popping bubbles with his gum. Rude, even for a weasel. The monkey didn't like this one bit. He started chasing the weasel around that mulberry bush, but he kept stopping. What's he doing, kids? It looks like he's pulling up his socks. Oh, that's right. The weasel had also stolen all of the monkey's good socks, with cool designs and good stretchy elastic, and left the monkey with only the mismatched socks that droop and fall around your ankles. He didn't like to look messy. So around and around they went, the weasel just smacking his bubble gum, naughty fellow. Eventually, the monkey started to catch up, but the weasel blew a bubble so large that it lifted him into the air like a balloon. And the monkey was so upset, now he'd never get his things back. Then, he saw that the weasel was flying towards some sharp tree branches. Oh dear! The monkey tried to call out and warn him, but it was too late. Pop goes the weasel. Ah! The weasel said he was sorry, so they became friends and they drank some pop. That's what some people call soda. Let's sum it all up in a rhyming fashion. All around the mulberry bush, the monkey chased the weasel. The monkey stopped to pull up his socks, and pop goes the weasel. The moral of this one is don't take things that aren't yours, don't brag, don't wear mismatched socks, and definitely don't smack your bubblegum. Nasty habit. Alright kids, time for a crooked little nursery rhyme. So we've got this man, and he's all crooked. He's all bent over one way, his leg going the other. Ow! My back! And he walks in a really crooked manner, right? And he finds a crooked penny. It's all bent, kind of misshapen, looks like someone hit it with a freight train or a hammer. And where does he find it? He finds it against this crooked stile, which is kind of like a gate through a fence. And what's he do with that penny? Well, he goes to a very, very, very cheap pet store and buys a crooked cat. His legs are all different lengths and he walks all janky, and his tail goes in a zigzag like a lightning bolt. And what do you think that cat did? It caught a crooked mouse. That's right, a mouse with a zigzag tail. But he didn't eat the mouse. He brought him in, said, "This is my pal Henry. He's a mouse, he's gonna live with us here in this house," which, if you haven't guessed, was crooked. Here we are. Bring it together, rhyming style. There was a crooked man who walked a crooked mile. He found a crooked penny against a crooked stile. He bought a crooked cat, which caught a crooked mouse, and they all lived together in a crooked little house. Nursery rhymes. So we're at this place, right? Old man's house, and it's raining. It's absolutely pouring rain. And this old man, right? He's snoring away. Earlier that night, went to the kitchen, had a snack first. Thought, I'm gonna have something great. Bumped his head, and he didn't wake up in the morning. Sum it all up, put it all together. It's raining, it's pouring. The old man, he's snoring. He went to bed, but bumped his head, and couldn't wake up in the morning. But you know what? There's a reason he didn't wake up in the morning. It's because it was Saturday and he wanted to sleep in. So he woke up in the afternoon. Hello kids, I'm your narrator and I'm here with a nursery rhyme time emergency. We're looking for the little boy who looks after the sheep. Has anyone seen him? Have you? I haven't. Supposed to show up today, supposed to watch the sheep and the cow. They're all over the place. You, boy, in the blue, come here. We need your horn. Yes, bring your trumpet.
It's a French horn.
Oh, French horn. That's great. That's perfect for calling sheep and cows. Come here. We need you to blow your horn because the sheep who are supposed to be in their pen are out in the meadow and the cow has gotten right into the corn. They're gonna eat everything. There's a reason we keep them pinned up. It's because they can't control their eating habits. And while you're doing that, blowing the trumpet, oh, French horn, sorry. While you're doing that, we're gonna look for the little boy who's supposed to look after the sheep. Wait a second. Is that haystack moving? Ah, I knew it. He's under the haystack and he's sleeping. How irresponsible. All right, well, in order to get it all packaged up nice, let's rhyme about it. Little boy blue, come blow your horn. The sheep's in the meadow and the cow's in the corn. Where's the boy who looks after the sheep? He's under the haystack, fast asleep. And he's in for a rude awakening, 'cause he had a responsibility. Silly boy. This time, it's about a guy named Peter, and I'm gonna be honest, he's a bit odd. Whereas most of us are taking pumpkins and carving jack-o'-lanterns, or making beautiful flower arrangements, this guy eats them. Excuse me. Now, I've heard of pumpkin soup, and I've heard of pumpkin pie, but this guy just takes a fork and a knife and eats the entire pumpkin. Weird. His wife thinks it's weird too. So he has a hard time keeping her around because she's always saying, "Oi, why do you like pumpkin so much?" And he always says, "Oh, I don't know, I just like my pumpkins. It's my favorite food. Why you gotta be on me about it all the time? You're gonna have a hard time keeping me around." So here's what he did. He ate the entire inside of a pumpkin and made her a house out of it. So therefore, he gets to eat pumpkin, she gets a sweet place to live, everyone's happy. Here we are, the rhyming part. Peter, pumpkin eater, had a wife and couldn't keep her. He put her in a pumpkin shell and there he kept her very well. Here it is, nursery rhyme time. This here is Peter.
Hey!
His last name? Piper. We know this because he plays the pipe. Well, it's more like a tin penny whistle, but that's beside the point. When he's not playing instruments, he likes to work in his mother's garden. But here's something else. He loves peppers. Little peppers, big peppers, sweet peppers, pepperoni pizza, and even very spicy peppers. But his all-time knock it out of the park favorite is, you guessed it, pickled peppers. I know, not the most delicious thing, but Who am I to say anything about what people like? I like pickled eggs. So, to sum it all up in a tricky, trippy tongue twister, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. But if Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, then how many pickled peppers did Peter Piper pick? Oh dear, we may never know. But if I had to guess, I'd say 8.
Hot, too spicy, I need water.
How about I give you a glass of water if you can say the tongue twister?
Peter Piper picked a peck of
Okay, fine.
Oh boy, that was one spicy pepper.
Hello, kids. It's bath time on Nursery Rhyme Time. Don't worry, no one's getting wet. This one is actually a bathtub boat. That's right, and who's in it? Well, you need to eat when you're out at sea. So we've got a butcher, right? He'll be able to provide all the meat and food that we need. But meat's great. What do you put it on? How are we gonna make sandwiches without a baker? Right? Oh, hey, look, a baker. He just happened to be in the tub as well. How are we gonna see when it gets to be nighttime? I know, candlestick maker. There we are, we've got a butcher, we've got a candlestick maker, and we've got a baker. So we've got our food, and we've got our light, and we're surrounded by water because they're all going out into the ocean. Sum it all up in a rhyming manner. Rub-a-dub-dub, 3 men in a tub. And who do you think they'd be? The butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker, all set out to sea.
It's nursery rhyme time. And oh no, look at that. It's raining. Oh, bummer. Oh, we've got a poem for that, haven't we? We've got a poem for everything, don't we? Here it goes. Rain, rain, because we're speaking to the rain. Might not have ears to listen, but we're gonna speak anyway. Let it know where to go. Tell it to go away. But not forever. It can come again another day. Just not today, because, well, maybe we have baseball practice. Or maybe an outdoor ballet recital. Or maybe it's Little Boy Blue's birthday. Oh no. The old woman's moved from a shoe into a pair of galoshes. Ooh, looks like Humpty's wall's a bit too slippery. Itsy Bitsy wants another go at that water spout. Maybe Jack B. Nimble's candle's gone out. Or maybe, just maybe, little Arthur here just wants to go out and play. That's right. And so we say, rain, rain, go away. Come again another day. Little Arthur wants to play. Rain, rain, go away. And maybe it will. Just maybe. If we're lucky. Nursery rhyme time. Alright, so there's a spider. And what is he? He's hairy, of course, but I mean really, what is he? He's Itsy, right? And also Bitsy. He's an Itsy, a Bitsy spider. And he decides, oh, what? I need some exercise. I want to climb this spout. It's a water spout. So he's climbing, right? Getting those 8 little legs, a little worked up, feel that burn, right? And then what happens? Not a very good day, is it? Down comes the rain, all right? It washes the spider out. What happens after it rains, kids? The sun comes out, right? It dries up all the rain. And what happens? You have an idea? It climbs right up it again. Lesson, if you're small, don't give up. Keep climbing. You might get wiped out, but hey, it's life. Right. Sum it all up, okay? Itsy Bitsy Spider climbs up the water spout. Down comes the rain and washes the spider out. But out comes the sun and dries up all the rain. And the Itsy Bitsy Spider climbs up the spout again. Learn your lessons, kids. That's how you do it.
It's nursery rhyme time. Oh, remember this fella? Yes, the spider, who's Itsy and also Bitsy. And you remember how he climbed up the water spout? Well, it's time for an update on Mr. Bitsy. Over the past few months, he's been working out, see? Training for the Spider Marathon, working those legs, all 8 of them. He's been doing push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, and also running a lot. And when the big race day came, he had been practicing a whole bunch and figured he was ready. But when he saw the competition, it was 3 daddy longlegs, who are spiders with very tall legs. He was worried. Of course he was worried. Look at him. But there was no time to think. The hairy tarantula referee fired the starting pistol and they were off. At first, he didn't even try. How could he possibly beat these tall daddy longlegs? But then, because his legs were so short, and because he was so itsy and so very, very bitsy, our hero found he could step much faster than the daddy longlegs. It was a close call, but the itsy bitsy spider won the race!
I did it! I won!
Moral of the story, even though you're small, you still have the power to accomplish great things. Sum it all up in a rhyme. The itsy bitsy spider was training for a race. He trained really hard until he was blue in the face. He began to worry because the others were so tall, but the itsy bitsy spider won the race after all because he believed in himself. It's about time for the nursery rhyme. Isn't that sublime? Guy named Jack, right? Not the beanstalk type, not the nimble one, just regular old Jack, and he's with his fiancée, Jill. Jack's thirsty, he grabs a pail, and he goes, I'm going to the well. So he spots it up at the top of the hill. Doesn't make sense for it to be on a hill, because he'd have to dig it much deeper. But anyway, he and his fiancée run up the hill to fetch themselves a bucket of water, but Jack, he's running too fast, and he falls, and he breaks his crown. Forgot to mention, Jack's a prince. And you know what? Jill, running just as fast, tumbles after. Sum it all up, bring it in. Jack and Jill ran up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. And they rolled all the way down the hill, ended up in the gully, and they found another well, and they drank from that one.
It's nursery rhyme time. Today, we're going to learn about our friend Mary. There she is.
And Mary had an unusual pet.
That's right, it's her little lamb. As expected, he's right behind her, because, quite honestly, Mary's little lamb follows her everywhere she goes. Maybe you've heard about it in a song? Mary had a little lamb. I would keep singing, but it's not really in my range. I'm more of a baritone. Prefer opera. Some jazz, really. But moving on, this little lamb would follow Mary everywhere she went. It followed her to the movies. It followed her to town while she ran errands. It followed her when she sold cookies door to door. It even followed her when she went skiing. Wait a minute, where's the little lamb? I don't see it, do you? Oh, there it is. Hard to find.
It seemed the little lamb's fleece was white as snow. Made him blend into the landscape a bit.
Oh, look, there's little Bo Peep. Hello, Bo. What's that? Oh dear, she's lost her sheep skiing as well. But that's not because her fleece was white as snow. That's because little Bo Peep's sheep are naughty, and they've gone over to the expert slope, even though I happen to know they ought to be on the bunny slope. But look at them go! Adventurous lot, those sheep. Alright, back to Mary and her little lamb. It followed her to school one day, even though the school had just announced a very strict no lambs policy. That didn't stop Mary's little lamb. He wore a disguise and walked right in. Smart little lammy. All the children laughed with delight when they saw the lamb in that costume, until the principal came in and said,
"You're not fooling me! No lambs allowed in my school!"
But no matter, the lamb just waited outside until school was over, and then Mary and all her friends came out and they played, and they pranced, and sang, in a rhyming fashion. The song went like this. Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. He followed her to school one day, and that was against the rule. It made the children laugh and play to see the lamb at school, and so the teacher turned it out, but still it lingered near, and waited patiently about, till Mary did appear. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. So there you have it, kids. If you love your little lamb, and you occasionally take it skiing, it will follow you forever. Should probably feed it too. I believe some grass would do just fine. Perhaps a flower or two as well. The end.
All right, children, here's a good one for people with big feet. So there's this woman, right? Older woman. Not that old. Less grey hair. There we are. So this woman lives inside of a giant 6-bedroom shoe. That's right. She lives inside of a smelly, well, not reeking, less smelly, a slightly funky smelling shoe. And she had so many kids that she didn't know what to do with them. They were always climbing the shoe, making a ruckus, throwing mud. Trouble. Trouble kids. For dinner, because they were bad, she gave them soup without anything in it. No noodle, no chicken, not even a mushroom, and no side dishes, not even bread, or broccoli salad. But you know what? She loved them. So she gave them all big kisses and sent them off to bed. Sum it all up in a rhyming format, here we go. There was an old woman who lived in a shoe, had so many children that she didn't know what to do. She gave them all broth without any bread and kissed them all kindly and sent them to bed. But they all read comic books under the covers and ate sweets that they bought with their allowance. Here we are with another nursery rhyme time. Today's story is about a cookie. You see, there was this woman, and she was a baker, and she was running out of ideas on how to get kids to buy her delicious cookies. Well, one night, she had a dream about a little man who was made of cookie. She woke up at 3:47 in the morning, as bakers usually do, and got to baking. And after hours of trial and error, made a little man out of gingerbread. End of story. Just kidding. That's where the story really begins.
Come here. I need to eat you.
You can't eat me. I have so much to live for. I've never gone sailing. I've never had my first kiss. I've never run in a field or been to Paris. There's so much to do.
And with that, he ran out of the house and into the field.
I'm actually doing it! I'm running in a field!
I'm gonna get you, little man!
Run as fast as you can! You can't catch me! I'm the Gingerbread Man!
And he ran and ran and ran and ran and ran as fast as his little legs could carry him until the old woman baker was out of sight. And then he rested by the river. Well, sleeping by the river was a wolf. Or at least he thought the wolf was sleeping.
She's going to come for you.
I can always run away.
You wouldn't have to run away if you crossed the river.
But I can't. I'm made of gingerbread. I'll get all soggy and fall to pieces.
I was just getting ready to cross the river myself. Why don't you ride on my head? You could hold my ears, see the view, maybe fish a little, I don't know.
And just then, the old woman came into sight in the distance, and the cookie man began to panic. Well, the big old wolf hopped into the river and shouted at him,
Quick! Quick, hop on before she gets here.
The gingerbread man was torn. There was nowhere to run, and so he leaped into the air towards the wolf's head and shouted to the woman,
Run as fast as you can! You can't catch me on the...
Delicious. I was going to eat that.
He was eaten by the big bad wolf and spent the rest of his days playing pinochle with Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother in the wolf's stomach. And that's the end of the tale. It's nursery rhyme time. There's only 4 things up on the North Pole: Santa Claus, elves, reindeer, and a polar bear named Stephen. He's not important, not part of the story. Anyway, we're talking about the reindeer. They're like regular deer, but with big old tree sticks growing out their heads. Rudolph, he was a reindeer, right? Bit different. He had a red nose. You might even say it glows, right? If you detached it, you could put it on the roof of a car, maybe. Make it a cop car, an ambulance. And all the other reindeer, they have these games. They wouldn't let Rudolph play. Hey, Rudolph, you stay over there. You're not good enough because your nose is red, right? Really mean. And then it's Christmas Eve and it's foggy. And Santa Claus gets this idea, right? He thinks to himself, ho, 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 how am I going to see? I don't know, no. So he gets an idea. He goes, hey, I know that one reindeer, right? He's a bit different. He's got a nose, it glows, right? Let's have him in front. His nose was bright enough to shine through the fog. You know what the other reindeer thought? Oh, wow, that's helpful. Good thing we're not going to fly into a wall now. He's our chap. Buy him a pint of milk. It all worked out. Sum it all up, Rudolph, he was red-nosed reindeer, had a very shiny nose. And if you ever saw it, you'd even say it glows. Or the other reindeer used to laugh, right? Call him names. They never let poor Rudolph play in their reindeer games, which are like the Olympics. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you drive my sleigh tonight? Then how the reindeer loved him, and they shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history. All right, kids, bring yourself in for a rhyming lesson. It's nursery rhyme time. We are 5 pigs. They all live together, sisters, brothers, living together in a good community. A pig neighborhood, if you will. So we've got this one, first one, right? She's pretty little pig. She went to the market. She decided it's getting a bit cold out. I need a new cardigan. And she's also going to pick up some produce, probably some nice vegetables. And this little piggy, he stayed home. Do you know why? I'll tell you why, because he wanted to play some video games. This little piggy had roast beef, loves a good Reuben. This little piggy had none. He doesn't eat meat, he's a vegetarian. Well, pescatarian, because he eats fish. Oh no! And this little piggy, he was out in the woods and he ran into the big old bad wolf. You remember him?
Why, hello. What is a little pig like you doing in the woods?
So he cries, wee, 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 all the way home. And he was safe inside the beautiful brick house. Here it is, all summed up. This little piggy went to the market. This little piggy stayed home. This little piggy had roast beef, and this little piggy had none. And this little piggy ran wee, wee, wee all the way home. It's a strange rhyme. It's supposed to help you count your fingers or your toes or something.
Hello, kids. It's nursery rhyme time. Wow, it's the Itsy Bitsy Spiderman. He's on patrol, looking for people who need help. First, he's visiting Humpty Dumpty.
That's weird. He's usually sitting on this wall.
Let's go see the old woman who lives in a shoe.
Her shoe house is all boarded up.
Mrs. Shoe, are you in there? Nothing. Mysterious day in nursery rhyme land. Let's check out Little Boy Blue. I don't see him.
I can't find Humpty Dumpty. I can't find the old woman who lives in the shoe. I can't even find Little Boy Blue. Where is everyone?
This is a very strange day indeed.
Something must be wrong. My spidey senses are tingling.
Wait! That haystack is shaking. Go away!
It's just me, Itsy Bitsy Spiderman.
Oh, okay then. Little Boy Blue, what's going on here? Everyone in Nursery Rhyme Land is missing. It's Peter. He's having a tantrum. Oh dear. What happened? Peter Pumpkin Eater had a wife and couldn't keep her. Yes, we know that part. When he came home, his wife was gone. And well, he got upset because he couldn't find her. And then he started flying around on a leaf, throwing pumpkins at everyone. Oh, is that what all this orange goo is? Yes! Yuck! Ah! Watch out! Here comes the pumpkin. Help! Somebody help! Look! It's the Itsy Bitsy Spider-Man. What have you done with my wife?
How should I know? Whoa, close one. Looks like your crust is about to crumble.
That's not even that funny. So then, Itsy Bitsy Spider-Man pointed past the goblin, Peter Pumpkin Eater, and said,
Hey, there's your wife right now.
Peter looked over his shoulder, turned his back to the Itsy Bitsy Spider-Man, which gave Spidey just enough time to spin a web around his feet and string him up in a tree, safe and sound.
Your pumpkin throwing days are over.
And just then, from around the side of the tree, came Peter Pumpkin Eater's wife.
See, I told you not to worry.
Where have you been? I've been looking all over for you.
I told you I was having a lunch with Bo Peep. I see you every Saturday.
Oh yeah. Sum it all up in a rhyming fashion. Peter Pumpkin Eater had a wife and couldn't keep her. Peter's wife went missing one morning, leaving the pumpkin without a warning. His temper couldn't have risen faster, turning the land into a disaster, throwing pumpkins at friends and kin until Itsy Bitsy Spider-Man came swooping in. He spun him up into a tree just in time for his wife to see. So at the end of the day, Peter went back to being just a pumpkin eater. And Itsy Bitsy Spider-Man saved the day so all of Nursery Rhyme Land could laugh and play.
It's nursery rhyme time. This one is about a bunny. Perhaps you've heard of him. Little Bunny Foo Foo? Well, Little Bunny Foo Foo was a bopper. He just loved to bop things. He was always bebopping and scatting and skiddly-booping all over town. To him, everything was a drum. He'd beat on the kitchen table. He'd drum on the bus. Little Bunny Foo Foo would even bop in school. One day, Little Bunny Foo Foo was hopping through the forest, and he started to think of a beat.
Ba-doo-bop-ba-dee-bop-bop-bop-ba-doo-bop, wow!
He looked around for something to drum. He saw the perfect thing, 5 little field mice in a group, each different height, just like a drum set. He sat down, said hello, and then started bopping them on their heads.
Hey, what's the big idea? Quit bopping our heads.
But Little Bunny Foo Foo was lost in the rhythm, and he just kept bopping. So the good fairy of the forest, yes, that's a thing, didn't you know? Every forest has a good fairy who watches over the trees and animals. Anyway, the good fairy swooped down and said,
Little Bunny Foo Foo, I do not want you bopping these field mice on the head. I'll give you 3 chances to behave, and if you don't, I'll turn you into a goose.
A goose? Yeah, right.
And he bebopped out of the forest. But the next day, he hopped right back. He saw the field mice, but just barely as they were trying to hide behind some flowers. Little Bunny Foo Foo hopped over, scooped them up, and bopped them on their heads. He even put 2 bottle caps on the littlest one's head, so he sounded like a cymbal.
Boopity-bop-bop-ba-da-bop-ba-da-bop.
I'm not a drum. Hey, that hurts my little mouse head.
So down came the good fairy, and she said,
Little Bunny Foo Foo, I told you not to bop these mice on the head. I'll give you 2 more chances to behave, and if you don't, I'll turn you into a goose. I mean it.
The next day, same thing. Foo Foo came a-hoppin' and a-boppin'. Boys and girls, the good fairy was losing her patience.
Little Bunny Foo Foo, I said Do not bop these poor little field mice on the head. One more strike, and then you're out! Straight to Goose City.
But little Bunny Foo Foo just didn't listen. All he heard was, and. You probably saw this coming, but on the third day, little Bunny Foo Foo went hopping through the forest, scooping up the field mice and bopping them on the head.
Ahem. Really? You're still hopping through my forest, scooping up field mice and bopping them on the head. I gave you a chance, but now I must turn you into a goose.
And poof! Little Bunny Foo Foo was turned into a goose.
Honk.
But that's okay, boys and girls, because now he could play drums and trumpet. Well, he just made the trumpet sounds with his new bird beak, but he was good. So good, in fact, that the field mice and even the good fairy went to all his gigs. So, it's actually a happy ending. Smashing.
All right, kids, nursery rhyme time. Gather in, bring it in, take a knee, huddle up. Here we go. Humpty Dumpty, right? This one takes a bit of explaining. He's an egg, right? Big egg of a fella, an ostrich-size egg. He sits up on top of a wall. He likes to have a view. He likes to sit, watch the birds maybe, count the clouds. Whatever it is eggs like to do on their weekends. And what happens? He falls, takes a big fall, shatters, right? As eggs do. Ever dropped an egg? Messy. Who shows up? Is it the EMTs? Is it the ambulance? No, it's all the king's horses and all the king's men. They show up to the scene. They're like, told you so, knew you'd fall. We're going to do our best, but guess what? They can't put them back together again. What you're going to do, mop it up, or maybe throw in a bit of cheddar, or feta, some mushrooms, tomatoes. Got a bit of an omelette. It's delicious. Sum it all up, Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Don't climb walls that are too tall for you to fall off of. You don't want to break. Can't put you together like a puzzle. Can't even put an egg together like a puzzle, let alone people. Careful. Alright, here we are. We've got Miss Muffet. She's pretty little, small woman, very petite figure, right? Sitting on a tuffet. Not quite sure what that is. I imagine it's a bit of a large mushroom. And what's she eating, right? What do normal kids eat, right? Small women. Of course, curds and whey. So she's eating her curds and whey, right? And uh-oh, there's that pesky spider, right? Comes down on his web. And what did it do? What did that spider do? He sat down right beside her. Like as if, it's like, oh, don't mind me. I'm not scary. I'm not frightening man-eating spider. I'm a nice, light, share your food kind of spider. By the way, do you mind sharing your curds and whey? And she goes, no, I don't think so. Runs off, scared away. Oh, poor spider. But oh, is it poor spider? No, because he ends up with the curds and whey. She forgot them. All right, to sum things up, little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet, eating her curds and whey, but along came a spider, sat down beside her, and frightened Miss Muffet away. And he ends up with the curds and whey. It's not part of the rhyme.
Hello, boys and girls, it's nursery rhyme time. This is a rhyme about sleep, but I need you wide awake to hear this one. Okay, sit up straight, get comfy, well, not too comfy, or you could fall asleep. Okay, let's begin. Say hello to William.
Hello.
Yes, hello. William here goes by the name Will or Wills. But for this particular nursery rhyme, he's going by the name Willie. Hello, Willie.
Hi there.
Willie is a rather small boy, a bit tiny. Not as tiny as an ant. But he is a wee fellow. Yes, friends, this is wee Willie Winkie. When the sun sets and families across the town are finishing up their dinner.
Great dinner. Thanks, hon.
Glad you enjoyed it. High in protein, that was.
And once the whole town has brushed their teeth,
Good night, Mary. Good night, little Bo Peep.
Willie here puts on his nightgown. Yes, quite odd that Willie here wears a nightgown. But since his pyjamas are getting washed in the laundry machine, Willie Winkie has to wear his sister's nightgown.
Seriously, Mom? Why do I have to wear Wendy's nightgown?
Oh, don't worry, Willie. It's nighttime. Nobody will see you. And as it happens, at 10 o'clock, which is way past Willie's bedtime, Willie is not fast asleep or even turning down his sheets or sipping a cup of hot cocoa before bedtime. No, Willie Winkie does the most peculiar thing. With a candle in his hand, Willie runs around the town. He runs upstairs, he runs downstairs. He's knocking on doors, tapping on windows, and checking to make sure that all the children are fast asleep. Willie is basically the town sleep monitor.
Hey, are you asleep?
Yeah, I sure am.
Okay, awesome.
He makes sure iPads are put away, books are on their night tables, and lights are switched off. Why, you may ask? Why does Willie do this? Well, too many children are coming to school late because they were watching TV or playing video games at night when they should have been asleep getting ready for the next great day. So, as it happens, this very important job has been given to Willie Winkie by his very own school. He double checks that the children are sleeping so they're well rested for class the next morning, and all the children are doing much better in school. And now for the nursery rhyme part. Willie Winkie runs through the town, upstairs and downstairs in his nightgown, tapping at the window, crying at the lock. All the children in their bed, for it's past 10 o'clock.
Now for another nursery rhyme time update. Little Bo Peep, she's lost her sheep, and she doesn't know where they are. Maybe they're on a hill, eating some grass. Maybe they're down in a valley, rolling down a hill. Maybe they're up on the top of a bridge. Maybe they're climbing a mountain. Maybe they went to the North Pole looking for Santa Claus. Maybe they're at the bottom of the ocean with Ron and Octavio. Maybe they're in science class with Professor Science. Maybe they're in the library listening to stories with Miss Booksy. We just don't know the facts. But here's an idea. Leave them alone. Just leave them. Maybe they went on an adventure. Who knows? Let them go. Let them have a good time. They're adults. They know what they're doing. And they'll probably come back wagging their tails. Sum all of that craziness up into a rhyme. Little Bo Peep has lost her sheep and doesn't know where to find them. But leave them alone and they'll come home, wagging their tails behind them. Because sheep like to go on vacation. They're adults. They can do what they want.
Alright kids, few thoughts. I've eaten some spicy pickles and had some interesting dreams. Few things I thought about doing those dreams, right? Hey, diddle, diddle, right? Cat and a fiddle. Funny thing to think about. Cat playing a violin. Then a cow jumping over a moon. That's pretty high, low gravity. Then there's a little dog, right? He's looking up at the moon. He's like, haha, that's funny. A dish, right? There's a plate now. He runs away with a spoon. Not a fork, not a knife. One's prickly, one's sharp. No, he wants something a little thin at the bottom, but a big head, right? It's a spoon, isn't it? Alright, summing things up then. Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, cow jumped over the moon, the little dog laughed to see such sport, and the dish ran away with the spoon. So, no lesson there, just random.
It's time for nursery rhyme. Hey, what's that flying overhead? It's all crooked like. Certainly not a bird. No, birds fly in a straight line. And certainly not a butterfly. Those only come out in the daytime, and they're much prettier. I know. I know! It must be a bat!
Let's call out to him and see if we can trick him into living inside my hat. That's funny. Yeah. All right, here it goes. Shh, shh, shh. All right. Bat.
Yeah? What is it?
How are you this fine night?
I'm doing fine. What do you want?
I've got a proposition. I want you to come and live with me.
Live with you? Where?
In my hat.
And why would I do that? Come and live underneath of your hat.
I'll give you a slice of bacon.
Is that all?
Do you like baked goods like cookies and cakes and stuff?
Well, of course I do. Who doesn't?
Well then, I'll give you a cake whenever I happen to be baking. How's that sound?
Well, it sounds pretty good, actually.
Hooray! It worked!
Oh, hey, it's nice in here.
Let's seal the deal by rhyming about it. Bat, come under my hat. I'll give you a slice of bacon. And when I bake, I'll give you a cake if I'm not mistaken. Wow, I have a new roommate, and he's a bat. I wonder if I have to sleep upside down.
Hello, boys and girls. Are you all ready for a Halloween nursery rhyme? I hope it's not too scary. Don't worry, I don't think it will be. It's about mummies. No, not mommies. Silly kids, mummies. Or monkeys. Oops, I wasn't supposed to say that. Okay, let's see what happens. Here we go, a Halloween nursery rhyme. All about mummies. Let's meet the mummies, shall we? Mummy number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Every night they sleep wrapped up in their sheets, as peaceful mummies like to do. But on Halloween, they don't go to sleep. They go out and trick-or-treat. But after trick-or-treating and eating gummy worms, chocolates, and candy corn, they are bouncing off the walls. Mummy number 1 was so full of energy. He jumped off the bed and hit his poor little head, unraveling his bandages. Oh no! Mummy number 1 said,
Ouch! This boo-boo hurts!
Mama Mummy came to their bed and decided to call the doctor.
Hello, Dr. Tut? My little mommy number 1 has fallen off his bed and hit his head.
Dr. Tut replied,
Tell those mummies there is no jumping under bed.
But all through the night, those mummies kept jumping. Number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5 jumped and jumped on their bed. Mama Mummy had to call Dr. Tut 5 times that night. That's what candy can do to you. 5 mummies with boo-boos on their head and a bed with a big mess of unraveled bandages. And after all that jumping, the mummies got very tired and finally fell asleep. Mama Mummy went to turn off their light and said,
That's a wrap. Good night, mummies, and happy Halloween.
All right then, now for the rhyming part. 5 little monkeys jumping on the bed. One fell down and hit his head. Mama called the doctor and the doctor said, No more monkeys jumping on the bed.
It's time for a nursery rhyme. This one is about a kid, very small, named Jack Horner. And he likes pies. What kid doesn't like pies? I didn't, except for ice cream pie. But this one's about mincemeat pie. And so this boy, he's sitting over in the corner of a restaurant, orders a pie. Waiter brings it, says, Here you go, here's your pie. Thanks for the pie. So he's eating his pie, right? And he gets this idea. I'm gonna take my thumb, I'm gonna stick it right in the middle of the pie. And when he pulls it out, it's got a big old plum on it. And he says, Boy, I'm a good boy. And he eats the plum. I don't get it, but here it is in a rhyme. Little Jack Horner sat in the corner, eating a mincemeat pie, which are delicious. He stuck in his thumb and pulled out a plum and said, "What a good boy am I!"